Welcome to PSAT Training. The test date for the PSAT is Thursday, October 29th, 2020. We will only be testing the 11th graders that have elected to test on campus. My name is Jennifer Pacheco-Mims. I'm in room 115 and I'm across from the nurse. On October 29th, 11th graders are testing for PSAT for National Merit Scholarship consideration. Emails have been sent to all testing and non-testing students with arrival times. They've been sent through the student and the parent emails. 9th, 10th, and 11th graders will be learning asynchronously at home. Room assignments for students will be posted in the main hallway, the second floor, and in the cafeteria. Room assignments will also be emailed electronically to all staff members. It'll be from jennifer.pacheco@fortworthisd.org. Orange rosters will be posted on the outside of your testing room. Students just need to find the number next to their name, enter the room, put their backpacks at the front or the back of the room or side, find their seat number, and sit. There will only be 10 to 12 students per room. 2 staff members will be assigned to each testing room. Please coordinate your 45-minute breaks. Lunch is scheduled for 1 p.m. through 2 p.m. It always depends on when testing actually ends, but that's what we're going for. No one goes to lunch until the last regular exam is turned in. There we do have extended testers, and they will continue to test. But we will go to lunch. Students will return to testing rooms after lunch and will be able to work on their asynchronous assigned work. At 7:30 a.m., you can begin picking up testing materials in room 115. I'm located across from the nurse and next to Ms. Weeks' office. From 8:10 to 8:20, if you can prepare for student arrival, you can number your desks, get your pro board clock up and running, post testing signs from the folder, etc. There are post-it notes that will be inside of the testing bucket for you to use if you need them. At 8:35, please begin, or earlier, begin reading instructions. Students bubble in any needed information, and then stop at 8:45 and move on. Those kids that did not finish the information at the beginning are more than welcome to finish it at the end of the test. 8:46 to 8:50, post your green testing started sign outside your door and begin reading script 1. It starts on page 74 and it'll be marked in your booklet. This is a PSAT standard testing schedule, kind of what we're trying to go with. We need to start the reading section by 9, and that means the students are starting the test at 9. All instructions should have already been read by then. 9 to 10, there's a reading section. Make sure that you post attendance at 9:15. 10:10 to 10:45, writing section. 10:55 to 11:20, math. There's a no calculator section. They cannot use a calculator. It has to be under their desk. 11:35 to 12:20, there's a math with calculator section, and the calculator can be on their desk during that time. It has to be flat. 12:25 to 12:45, students complete bubbling as needed. Return materials to room 115. Complete your seating chart and make sure all timing is written in your manual. Check your answer docs for name, date of birth, grade level, school code, test information, etc. Students will not be released to lunch until all PSAT materials have been collected. There's an announcement for lunch that will release everybody. Do not return cell phones until official release for lunch. Remember, this is a timed test. There are 4 test sections and 2 breaks that are timed individually. Follow the timing instruction or the timing guideline provided. Try to stick to it as close as you can. Record each section's start and end times in your testing manual, as well as on the board, so the students know what's going on too. These are official records in case the College Board questions your administration procedures. I have to keep them for 6 months. Use the Promethean board timer, and definitely write the section times on the board around the room. If you need a clock and you don't want to use a Promethean board timer, I do have clocks available. Actively monitor your students throughout the test. If your classroom is a testing room, cover all instructional materials on the walls of your classroom by October 28th. A good rule of thumb for that is if you think it might be instructional, just go ahead and cover it up. I can put rolls of paper. I think we have them downstairs in the hallway. If you need anybody to bring them up, we can do that too. All students must be facing forward in the same direction while testing and be spaced at least 6 feet apart in your room. Again, there'll be 10 to 12 students per room, so you should be able to do that. These are seating examples. Okay, important info for students. This information must be posted. It'll be in papers that are inside of your testing bucket. You just need to tape them up in your room. Always write the start and stop times on the signs provided in your booklet, or sorry, in your testing basket, or you can put them on the board in your room, however your room is set up. Their school code, the date, and the school address will be on the paper that's in there. There is a call for a PSAT test room code. The test room code is 3 digits. The test room code is the room number that you were testing in. Make sure you post the sign. It'll be in your testing bucket. Students must bubble in all 3 digits. Last year we had kids that only bubbled in they were in room 1 and they only did number 1. They have to bubble in all 3 parts. So for example, if you're in room 123, make sure that you bubble in 1, 2, 3, 012, 001, etc. Seat students and check attendance as they enter the classroom. Students are not allowed to seat themselves. There are rosters that will be outside of your door. Seats will be numbered by you. Students sit at assigned numbered desk according to the sheet that's in your bucket and is also on the outside of your door. Seating begins with the 8:15 a.m. entrance bell. As soon as your students are seated, you may begin the directions for completing the identification information. Late students will be sent to their assigned class until 8:45. Once you begin section 1 of the test, no one will be allowed to be admitted to your room. Students who arrive after the test has begun will be sent to the auditorium. Test materials must be passed out in a snaking pattern. After students begin testing, fill out the seating chart. A student may leave the room with the restroom pass during the exam, but they're not allowed to make up the time that they miss. During designated breaks in the testing script, students are allowed to stretch in the room away from the testing materials on their desks. Drinks may not be at the student desks. During designated breaks, students can either use the restroom pass to leave the room only. Do not release students into the hall during the designated breaks. They need to stay in the rooms during that time because other classrooms might still be testing at different times. The seating chart is required. It's on the back of your testing manual. Use the back of it, fill it out completely. Your exams cannot be checked in without a completed seating chart. That's the part I have to keep. Any testing irregularities, they're listed in the supervisor's manual. If you think it might be a testing irregularity, alert a hall monitor or tell your testing buddy that's in your room with you. They can come down. I'll be in room 115. They can come down and we'll discuss that and get that taken care of. Use the section timing chart in your manual. It's marked with a Post-it note. The only breaks allowed are written into the script. Always follow the exam script. Don't go off reservation. Take attendance after the students begin section 1. Place the attendance outside your door. Just tape it up by 9:15 and somebody will come around and pick it up. Actively monitor your students while they test. The PSAT exam materials must be kept secure at all times. Please make sure that if you pick up your testing bucket that you don't leave it anywhere. If you do need to leave it anywhere, make sure that it is locked up. But make sure that you're with it. A student may leave the room during the exam, but they, again, will not be allowed to make up that time that they've missed. Calculators will be provided for all 11th graders. The calculators will be in the room already. Any student may bring their own calculator for testing. If you just look in your supervisor's manual, there's information about calculator use and which one they can. If you do have any information or any questions about calculators, just tell your testing buddy or tell the hall monitor, and we'll bring somebody up there to help you. The calculators at the beginning of the test, just make sure that they turn on, and then the student will put them under their desk until they need them during the 4th part of the test. Instructions should be read word for word. Do not deviate from the scripted instructions. Fill out the seating chart on the back. Can't say that enough. Actively monitor no unrelated activities. This includes the hall monitors too. No cell phone usage in the testing rooms or the hallways. Walk around the room and confirm that your students are working on the correct section. If they are not working on the correct section, that is actually a testing irregularity, and we will need to take care of that. Make sure that they're on the correct section. You can see it at the top of the page. The majority of testing irregularities can be prevented by monitoring. Um, do not let the students belabor the section at the beginning where they do the pre-admin bubbling. We do have stickers on them already, and they just have a couple of things they have to do. Your instruction manual is marked up. Only have the students bubble in the information indicated in your manual. If it's marked out, just skip it. Read the highlighted sections that we have in there. Late students can still come in during this part, but once you start the test, they cannot. If a student comes in after you complete this part, you haven't started section 1, they will need to complete all of this information at the end of their test. That's kind of what it looks like. Some directions will be crossed out. Just skip on by those. Same thing with this. Everything's marked in your manual. Go through the checklist. It'll be in your testing booklet on the outside of your folder before returning your materials to ensure you've got everything and ensure that the check-in process goes well. All exam booklets must be returned, and booklets and materials. Testing teachers return the exam materials to room 115 while a hall monitor watches your class. Y'all will have testing buddies this time, so you can actually switch off, and we'll be able to do that quickly. Phones can be returned after the bell rings. Announcement for lunch. Do not give phones back until the students are officially dismissed for lunch. Just listen for the announcement. Hall monitors help clear the hall and encourage students to quickly find their testing rooms. The lists again are in the main hall, the second floor, and the cafeteria. Relieve testing room proctors for a restroom break if needed. They also do have a buddy, but if their buddy is not available and they need to, if y'all could do that, that'd be great. Do not bring other work to do while you're on duty. Keep your voices down while in the hallway because it's distracting to the students in the rooms. No phone usage. They should be on silent. Monitor the restroom on the hall. If you're a restroom monitor, every student should have a pass. Students should be encouraged to clear the hallway. More than one student can enter the restroom at a time, but keep track of how many are in and out so you can encourage them to move along and get back to their testing. Contact me as soon as possible if there are any questions about calculators, irregularities, anything. If your room is being used for testing, make sure you have done the following before you leave for the day on the 28th. Cover your walls, no academic material. If you think it might be, just go ahead and put a piece of paper on top of it. All desks need to be in rows, preferably facing the Promethean board, sorry. Please leave your computer, Promethean board, pen, and remote where they are visible. Rooms being used, these are all of them. I don't want to read them all. Final reminders, be prepared to take over an exam. There are no guarantees that you will not have to replace a teacher or a staff member that has a medical or a family emergency. Wear comfy shoes, wear layers, have a watch, turn off your phone. You can start picking up testing materials as early as 7:30 in room 115. Again, I'm across from the nurse's office and I'm next to Mrs. Weeks' office. All testing materials should be picked up by 8:15. That's when the kids are coming in the building. Once you get to your room, label the desks and get your pro board clock up and running, and any other information that needs to be posted around the room that's in your testing bucket. Collect all student backpacks, or have them do it. Have them place their backpacks either at the front of the room, side of the room, however your room is set up. Students do not seat themselves. Have them sit at the desk with the number that is next to their name on the orange roster. So if they're number 1 on the roster and there's a number 1 post-it note on that desk, then that's where they sit. And that'll be easier for you when you do your seating charts. You're responsible for reading the coordinator manual ahead of time. I'm going to send it electronically. If you don't feel comfortable seeing it electronically, you can also stop by room 115 and get a paper manual. Assuming responsibility for test materials in the assigned room, administering the test according to the manual's directions, completing the seating chart, properly timing each section, actively monitoring the testing room, handling irregularities and disruptions and complete the regularity report, and that would be something you would do with me. Returning all test materials to the coordinator in room 115. Pick up those testing buckets starting at 7:30. All test room supervisors check in at room 115 by 8:15 if you are giving the test. All PSAT hall monitors check in at room 115 by 8:15. All teachers should be at their post at least by 8:20. PSAT headquarters is in room 15. I'm across from the nurse's office. And again, that's pretty much it. Everybody will be assigned 2 per room, so you'll have plenty of help in your room if needed. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be sending out the room assignments and everything via email. It'll be from jennifer.pacheco@fwisd.org. Okay, and thank you. If you have any questions, let me know.